Oh, that's a heck of a way to start it with me coughing, huh?
Yeah, be like that. Get Cass coughing for you.
Yeah. What's up, gamer? No, I'm just kidding. What's going on? I'm Lord Pog. Howdy. And I'm joined here by Android.
Howdy.
And we were just sitting here talking. We haven't done a mad banter in I don't know how long. It's been quite a while, hasn't it?
Quite some time.
Yeah, so, and it feels like every time we try to do a mad banter, something happens and the audio gets corrupt or just something ends up happening and we don't ever get to do it. But we were just sitting here talking and we're going to jump right into it. But we were just sitting here talking and Android started telling me about an idea that he has for his lifestyle. And I thought he should get on here and share it with the world. So, without further ado, Android, would you like to take it away and tell the lovely listeners at home what you were just telling me?
Well, uh, perhaps it won't be so eloquent. It wasn't before,
Oh no.
necessarily. And it's not like it's some revolutionary idea, right? But, um, I just kind of want to go back to more of a traditional style of dress. Like, I don't like the conform, or I guess uniformity rather, of modern clothing, and I feel like it's all cotton. You are almost, you know, I guess bottlenecked into specific fabric types just because it's the easiest and the cheapest to mass produce or whatever, you know?
Well, it is the
Yeah,
fabric of our lives.
yeah, and um, I suppose. Um, in any case, yeah, and I just don't really like the way that it looks. Like it all just looks kind of samey to me. And nobody wears armor anymore, and that's kind of lame. I mean, everybody acknowledges that armor looks cool, especially in today's society, like where people play video games so prevalently. Everybody knows armor looks cool, and nobody wears it.
Okay,
Why?
well, I have a question.
It makes me angry.
When you initially started this, you said nothing about armor. Like I was
Well,
talking about
yeah,
I
now I'm like, going off on one.
I was talking about like corduroy slacks and things like that, and like maybe, and you said like linen shirts, the linen shirts
Yeah.
that lace up the. When I said like,
Well,
I think I said
those are
wool or
the things.
cotton, but you didn't say anything about like walking around town wearing like chainmail
Well,
or
no, man, these are the types of things that you wear underneath of leather armor. You know?
right. Okay, so you're gonna walk around dressed like you're a part of the Dark Brotherhood. I mean, like I said before.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine,
like
fair enough.
I'm just,
That
I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit. Earlier, when you first told me this, I said, and I'll admit it, everything in me told me to tell you not to do this. But I feel like, because earlier we were talking about like your shadow self, that self you keep hidden and stuff, and how it can be negative. And because I felt like that was one of those moments, I'm like, that's why I absolutely think you should be doing this. So, like, when I make jokes like that, I'm just kind of poking fun a little bit because, like,
no, you're fine.
I
It
absolutely think
sounds
you should be
crazy.
doing this. Yeah, I think you should absolutely be doing this. You
Well,
know?
yeah, I mean, it just sounds crazy with the reference of today's modern society. Why would you have to? You know what I mean? Well, because I want to, bitch. You know, like, do I need a reason other than that?
And why shouldn't you have to? I mean, we got people going up into school shooting things up and stuff. You know, like, I
Well, it's
mean,
not like my leather vest and pauldron are going to
you're
stop
going
a
to stop
fucking
a
bullet,
bullet. Yeah,
you know?
maybe not.
But I'm not gonna get stabbed
Yeah, yeah,
at the
maybe
very
not.
least.
Yeah, at the very least, you're able to, and most people aren't just coming. You know, bullets are expensive. People aren't just necessarily like 100% about shooting unless they know you've got a gun too. You know, if they know you don't have a gun, unless they're just straight up bullies, I guess. You know, just pulling out a gun because they're like, oh, I'm gonna flex or whatever, and then what a chode. Don't be that guy. That's all I can say. Don't be that guy.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
if your opponent doesn't have a gun, then don't use a gun. Go at each other with baseball bats. You know, like I'm not saying you shouldn't use a weapon, but I'm just saying like uh, use your weaponry accordingly. I don't know if I should be encouraging that. Like I'm out there. People should
In,
when you
inciting gun violence.
yeah when you engage in Mortal Kombat, don't use a gun. Use a sword. Yeah, I mean,
No,
shoot,
I'm with that though.
why not? I mean, like, just walk down the street and rocking a cloak. Are you gonna get you one of those little masks to put over your face too, like the little thief mask to go across your mouth?
Depends on how I'm feeling. No, probably not.
If
Well, because I don't want to like come off as like suspicious in that way, you know?
as opposed to walking down, wait.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm gonna rob them just because I'm wearing like a bandit mask, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
If
you've
you're gonna
already.
think if you're gonna think that I'm gonna rob you, it's simply because I look like a homeless gentleman, and that's
No,
fine.
you are walking down the street in a cloak and leather armor with pauldrons, you even pointed out. Looking like you're headed to a Renaissance fair, but you're just legit going to work.
Yeah, walking to work.
Yeah, you're like you're just going down to the local store to pick up a gallon of milk or whatever. And you're worried that a face mask is gonna make people wonder if you're out there to rob them.
Well,
That
that's what I'm saying.
that's gonna do it.
Uh, if they're gonna wonder that I'm gonna rob them, it's gonna be because I look homeless, not because I'm hiding my face.
Well, I don't know if you'd look homeless even. I think
I might with a cloak.
yeah, but it depends on like how you rock that cloak. Like if that cloak is dirty and looks like you've been pissing and sleeping in it, then yeah. But I mean, if it looks like something you actually take care about and genuinely care about, like if your leather armor actually looks like leather that you have tanned and oiled and gotten supple like armor, and if your dress actually looks like you give a dang, nobody's gonna mistake you for homeless. They might think that you might be an escaped mental patient, but they're not going to think you're homeless, Or they're going to think that a Renaissance fair is in town, right? They're going to be like, "Oh, is there a
Well,
Renaissance fair?" Like, I
but the cloak, if I'm going to lean into the adventurer, like look, wouldn't it look raggedy? Like I piss and sleep and
wipe your rear end with it.
wipe
So,
my ass with it. I
I
mean,
mean,
it's an adventurer cloak. I
I
mean, sure,
mean,
my armor looks nice, but it's hidden by the cloak.
it could be dusty. You could have a dusty cloak, but something tells me that like adventurers probably take good care of their cloaks because if you're traveling to Mordor, you need your cloak to look. You need like take Aragorn's for instance,
Okay,
right?
not everybody gets their cloaks from the forests of Lothlorien, though.
Well, okay, take Aragorn's cloak, right? It looks pretty torn. It looks pretty, it looks gnarly. It's frayed at the edges and stuff, but it also looks like it's well loved and well kept. You know what I mean? It looks like it's weathered. Yes.
Yeah, but
So,
that's the Strider. That's not a fair comparison.
well, I mean, you're talking about wearing leather armor and dressing in a cloak. I mean, I'm sorry, but you now have a business model that you have to live up to. All right, you are if you're not going to look at Strider as the as the
Well,
end
yeah.
game, then you should not even be trying. You know, like then go back to regular clothes. All right, that's like me saying, well, I think I'm just gonna drink more, grow out a freaking big
Well,
old
yes,
beard,
but
rock
my
an
point
axe,
is
and then
that in this case, I don't have the skill to keep my cloak as well kept in the face of adventuring.
well,
I'm gonna look like a homeless man.
well, start sewing, start learning how to sew. I mean, look, bro. There's a lot of responsibility that's going to come with your lifestyle change that you're just going to have to accept, right?
That's fine.
Like you're going to have to learn how to uh maintain your leather armor. You're going to have to learn how to sew, or Cassie's going to have to learn how to sew, you
She
know.
already does.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah, you do have the capabilities of maintaining your clothing, right? Like uh yeah. And I guess those are the only real responsibilities, right? Cuz it's not like you can't afford a horse. It's not like you're going to start riding a horse to work, although that would be pretty tight.
No, that would be so sweet
Yeah,
though.
that would be really tight. If you actually started riding a horse to work and stuff, I'd be like, man, my brother is living his best life. I'd be like, man, he is living his best life. He is riding around looking like Aragorn, riding a horse to work. He's got a sword strapped to his back. What a freaking savage. I'd be like, what? How amazing is he? You know, like, I'm just over here doing my thing, I guess. you know, man, that would be that would be excellent. That would be excellent. So yeah, gonna start wearing midi. What else are you gonna do? Are you gonna start adopting other medieval principles too?
Well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you carry a sword at your hip if you're gonna carry a gun?
Well, I mean, like, are you gonna start like hunting your own food?
Well, I mean, ideally, I mean, in the good graces that I should ever own my own land, that would be really cool too.
I would love to own my own land. I would love to own my own land. That would be pretty cool. Like, and I don't even care honestly where it is. Like, as long as it's not Alaska, and it's nothing against Alaska, I just feel like Alaska would be too hard to maintain the land.
It's a pretty harsh environment in some places.
Yeah, I just I don't know if I've got it in me to be able to like battle Alaska, but like anywhere here in the United States, like or the main United States, I wouldn't mind. I'd if I just all of a sudden came into like a big old. I tell you what, I would take the Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh man, yeah,
I
cool.
would take it. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, yeah, there's crazy crap that happens out here all the time. I'm good. I don't care. I look at all this land I own that nobody wants. You know what I mean? Like,
Right?
yeah, I'm happy with it. I'd buy me some four wheelers and go
I'll
riding
fight him.
around. Yeah, like I just, yeah, like I'm not even kidding. I'd buy some four wheelers and ride around and just, I'd purposely look for crazy things to check out. You know, like I wouldn't care. I'd take
Straight up.
yeah. I mean, sure, you're living in Utah, but Utah's not terrible. I've been to Utah. You ever been to Salt Lake City?
I have actually. Not to hate on Salt Lake City, but it kind of freaked me out.
Well, yeah, I got stuck there one time. Well, I didn't get stuck there. Like I was at a bus station, right? Some of the best stories come from like taking the bus, the Greyhound. You know, it's a lost art. Everybody wants to fly, you know, or drive. Take the bus. Just one time, take the bus somewhere. Just pick a place, a far enough away place that you can afford to like travel to, and then come back, and then just take that adventure. Crazy things happen all the time.
Even like public transit buses in your local cities or hometowns or whatever, like that can be an experience as well.
Oh,
Buses are excellent.
oh, Seattle's public transit is the most ridiculous thing. It is the most ridiculous thing, right? Like I mean, yeah, it is. It is quite an experience. It is quite the experience. I uh I I used to take the bus all the time, and I got to know like all the bus drivers, at least on that route, right? On that one particular route, there was a guy who like these two guys, they changed out like couple of days of the week this guy drove, next couple of days of the week this guy drove, type of thing, you know what I mean? Like shifts.
Right.
Yeah. And the one guy, he was like real staunch and treated the bus system like it was like the military or something, you know? You don't have a ticket, you don't have the money to get on. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
like I don't know why I'm making him like subtly Irish, but it just, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have a ticket, you don't have the money, you know, you're not getting on. No ands, ifs, or buts. The other guy was really cool. You could actually talk him into letting you on the bus, and he'd be like, yeah, don't worry about it, just get on here. You know what I mean? And then, like, you could stand there and joke with him all day long while, you know, he was driving the bus, and he was real good. The other guy, no nonsense, man. I'm not kidding. He drove that bus like he was taking you to D-Day. Like you were about to storm the beaches of Normandy. I'm not kidding. Like the whole ride there, up until like I told him, what was it? I told him, okay, so it's gonna be kind of mean, right? Hold on a second. Sorry about that.
No problemo.
We can edit that in post or whatever. I don't care. But yeah, uh, yeah. So that guy was really like that though. Like he was just real hard nosed. The bus system is not to be taken lightly, you know. And he was like that with me until the other guy that drove the bus told me, "Oh yeah, he's always like that. Just tell him you know so and so." And I don't remember the name he gave me or anything like that. And I was just like, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Oh, it's his son."
Nice.
And I was like, "Well, don't you think he'd know that I know his son?" He goes, "Oh no, because his son lives over here and stuff. You just tell him that you know you used to hang out over here. You were part of this, this, and this." And I was like, "You're kidding me." He's like, "No, go ahead and do it." And I did it. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah. Is your last name such and such?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah. I know so and so. Are you related to him?" And he's like, "That's my son." I was like, "Oh, yeah, cool, man. Like me and him used to boat together."
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I feel kind of bad about it now that I think about it, but like, man,
Speech
like,
increased.
yeah, like my bluff, my bluff increased. You know, I used to go out on a boat when I lived in Washington, out there, you know, by like wherever that's called, like Puget Sound or whatever that is called out there. You know, the ocean. I don't know what they call the ocean out there. They just call it the ocean. It's the freaking
The
water.
ocean.
Yeah. I used to go with this buddy of mine, Celtec. Like, dude lived in the same apartment complex I did, and somehow he knew how to get on a boat. Like, what I mean, like he knew somebody who let us use his boat and his ski doos.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like, why is he letting me do that? Like, because I thought, you know, I'm like, this doesn't seem right.
Is he gonna kill me?
Yeah, like that, or you know, is this even legal? What we're doing, you know? Do you mean your friend, air quotes? You know what I mean?
Right.
But he was just like, don't trip. Don't even trip. It's fine. And we never did. We never got in trouble for that ever. Nothing ever came of it. I mean, there was one time we were out there on the ski doos, and I was just out there ski doing around, and like out of nowhere, this freaking whale just comes up out of the water, starts spitting water up out
Wild.
of, yeah, right up out of its blowhole, dude. Like, I was probably like, uh, I don't even know how to gauge the distance. I wasn't right up on him, right? I was close. I was far enough away from him that like I couldn't just reach out and touch him. Like I'd have had to like get up on him, and by the time I got to him, he probably would have gone back in the water because I would have freaked him out. But I was close enough that when he disturbed the water coming up, the waves reached me. You know, the ripple of the water reached the ski-doo.
Whoa.
And then when he blasted off out of his hole, it reached me and
Showered, yeah.
yeah. I was just like, that's a mother licking whale out there.
Nice.
Yeah, Celtec was just laughing at me like, "You first time?" I was like,
Nice.
dude, yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm from Texas. Even on the third coast, we don't have whales just coming out being like, "How you doing?" what y'all
Yeah.
out here doing?
How you doing?
Yeehaw. Skeet skeet
Howdy.
mother. yeah. Yeah, skeet skeet mother liquor, you know? Like, no. Oh man. Yeah, so you're gonna be doing the Renaissance thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see it. No, I mean that.
No, I know.
I mean that. I'm not being rude. I'm like serious. I want to see it.
No, I gotcha.
I mean, like, I want you riding around on horses, shooting deer with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah. People start getting rowdy. You come in with a sword, being like, "Stop this madness."
Enough. Enough of this.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Draw a sword.
yeah, like, I want to see like, a group of people like about to kidnap a small like group of children. You know what I mean? Like I want to see some people about to kidnap a group of small children, and then you just come up out of nowhere with a sword in one hand and a torch in other, catching fools on fire and just wrecking them with your sword. You know, on like a
Would be excellent.
on like a playground or something. You know what I mean? Like one of the dudes is trying to run away, you just take your sword and just like sling it at him and take him down.
Just throw it
Mm-hmm.
and pike him to a tree
Something.
right there in front of all these children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not.
Well, I'm like halfway like ripping off Lord of the Rings right now in the scene where Aragorn comes in and saves the hobbits on the hill. But yeah, like in real life, it'll be a little bit more vulgar than that.
Yeah, that's why it's funny.
Because you're gonna scar these poor kids. They're gonna be like, it's like it's okay, you're safe now. They're like, that was our parents. They were just mad. Like you completely misread the situation. You were just so amped
He
about
was just trying to buckle me up.
You were just so amped about getting to do some medieval stuff.
The sword.
That you completely
Impale some children's parents right in front of them.
all because like Timmy, Jimmy, and Susie weren't supposed to be out right now, and their parents got together. Like,
you mean Aiden, Zayden, and Caden?
yeah, Aiden, Zayden, and Caden. Yes,
And their little sister Brayden.
Yeah.
But it's like AI.
Yeah.
So it's a girl's name.
Yes. 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 You know. I mean, I wonder what it would be like to have like a bunch of kids like that and just name them all the same, like just rhyming names like that. Like name them Hickory, Dickory, and Doc.
Yeah, that would be pretty awful.
I mean,
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
yeah, yeah, like I don't know, like if I tell you what, like I've only got I've got the two, right? So like that's pretty easy to keep track of. But if I had like 5 to 6 kids, I'd start just giving them like easy names.
Oh yeah,
Like I'd have Chief.
Joe. Joe Chief. That's his name.
Yes, yes. Freaking, I'd just wait. I'd let them name themselves. Like the one that whines all the time, I'd name him Snitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So some of them wouldn't get a name for a long time till I felt satisfied.
Till they made you like proud.
Yeah, or like
Proud of
until they just like really showed me who they are.
them.
Problem is if I got to do that, then I got to stay true to it. So like, can you imagine like walking in on your kid and being like, "Yo, Pornhub, it's time for supper. Come in here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's because you've caught him way too many times. It's like, man,
Yeah.
or get a job, leave him get a job. Yeah,
Name them, get a job.
name your kid get a job.
Yeah.
Yo, get a job. Go tell Useless that that supper's ready. It doesn't sound like I've done a good job with my kids. It doesn't sound like I've done a good job with my kids at all.
Uh, your hypothetical ones? No.
Yeah, no, no. My real kids, they're good. You know,
You love them. That's why they have normal names.
that's yeah. It's because I'm allowed to hate my hypothetical kids. I mean, can you imagine that one Pornhub? He's the worst. He's the
I
worst
bet.
one. He's the
That he
worst one.
keeps everybody the fuck up at night.
Yeah, like at least get a job and Useless, man. They know how to like f off every once in a while. Pornhub, man, he's using up all the Wi-Fi. He's stealing all the bandwidth. I'm having to steal the
High
neighbors.
priority.
Man. Bandwidth is such a like data. That's such a piece of crap business.
Such a scam.
It is. It really is. When the internet first like came around and got big, like back in the AOL days, they didn't do data then. You just you paid for the phone line and then you hooked your internet into your phone into the wall and then you had dial up. What sucked about it was is that if you only had one phone line, then nobody could get on the phone while you were on the internet and vice versa. Right? You couldn't get on the internet if somebody was on the phone. So, what I would do is I would be on the phone and then eventually like either, one of our brothers would come in and be like, "You gonna get off the phone so I can get on the internet already?" Blah 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 blah. And I'd be like, "No, I'm on the phone because I'm doing business. I'm holding court, if you will." And I'm like, "Nah, no, no." So then they go and they tell ma and pa, and so I'm like, "All right, fine." So what I would do is instead of hanging the phone up, I'd flip it around and then put it on the receiver backwards. You know what that does, right?
No.
That keeps the phone from ever activating because back in the day, the landlines, if they were off the hook for too long and just sitting idle, they'd start going,
Right.
right? So what this does is it keeps it from going, but it never makes a secure connection, so it doesn't actually ever hang up the phone. So the phone is still
Oh.
so the phone is still registering as busy. So then they come in,
Oh,
they try dial up, and the dial up ain't working because and I'd let them do that for like a little while, spin their wheels on it, trying to figure out troubleshooting and doing everything. And then eventually they just come in and be like, screw it, dude. Can't even get on the internet right now. Something's wrong with the provider, blah, blah, blah. Because dial up was real, like, finicky,
yeah.
And so they would, forget it, dude. You can get back on the phone, I guess, blah, blah, blah. And then they walk out, and I'd be like, yep. Boop, 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 boop. I'd be like,
Nice.
get back on the phone. Oh, I thought your brothers were getting on the phone. I thought your brother was getting on the internet. Well, he was. Well, how come he didn't?
He
Because
was, yeah.
because I'm the king. And hail to the king, baby.
Pretty much.
I'm like, it was not a hard thing to figure out. Like, I figured that out quick. Like, you could say it was shisty, but,
Yeah, but it's not something that somebody would so obviously figure out, though. You know,
no.
if they didn't think or didn't know to look for it.
Well, I guess to be
That's
fair,
funny.
yeah, I guess to be fair, like if you were to take a modern day kid and give him dial up and blah 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 and all this stuff and be like, now figure out how to do this, they might have a little bit of trouble unless they're just so tech savvy that they've actually studied these things anyways. You know? But in those days, we grew up with this stuff. Like we came up with phones, you know, becoming more than they are. Because like almost no household has a landline anymore, right?
No.
Almost like no home has a landline. Everybody has just their own individual cell phones, and I kind of feel like I don't know. Like I feel like that's
That sucks.
well, yeah. Like it feels kind of like it's an act of separation for a household.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. But then again, like it doesn't really make much of a difference anyways because when there was just one landline, everybody was fighting over the phone anyways. And if you only had one line, you know, that really sucked. Because then you were getting told, you're getting off the phone here in like 10 minutes. Oh, why? Because you're not tying up the phone all day. Like it ain't happening, you know? And that's the funny thing. Like, I hate just talking on the cell phone, like, constantly. Like, I don't mind it when it's, like, like you or, like,
Yeah.
our sister or, like, dragons or somebody, you know? But, like, just in general, when I'm getting on, like, it just, if I have to call somebody or just I hate it. I hate cell phones. I really do. I do.
Me too. I just hate making phone calls in general. Like you said, I don't mind talking to specific people, including the people in my life. But just in general, making a phone call is not my favorite thing to do. I hate it. I hate being on the phone.
Yeah, and yeah, texting. I mean, I don't mind texting, but I hate texting on the road. Like, I hate when people text me and I'm on the road. It's like, if you know I'm on the road, don't text me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to an extent, it's one of those things where like people can't necessarily help that, right? Because you don't really know. So I'm a little bit more forgiving about that. But like, I guess my whole thing is like I don't really like cell phones. But back in the day when phones were like landlines, I loved it. I loved talking on the phone. And I don't know why that is. Like I don't know what the difference in that is, you know? But like it's gonna sound weird, but like people used to do this crazy thing where they just to get privacy on the phone. Because now you got a cell phone. You can just take that cell phone anywhere. You can go take it into the bathroom and do your business and talk on the phone, and get privacy that way, right? But just to get privacy on a landline, you literally had to take the phone, stretch the cord out as far as it would let you, and hope that you could reach a closet. So you could open up the closet, sit inside the closet, and shut the door. And I kid you not, that's a legit thing. People used to do that all the time.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That show Alf. You ever heard of that show Alf?
Yeah, I know Alf.
Yeah, at the very beginning of that show, go watch that intro again. The intro for the girl or whatever on that show. She's doing that, right? And they made it look like it was just a girl thing on television. No, guys did that crap all the time too, because everybody wanted their own. It's just that guys would figure out a way to get their own phone in their room, right?
Yeah.
Because like society back in the day, they would it didn't care. Nobody cared if your son had his own phone, but if you had a daughter, there was no way you were giving her her own personal phone. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be until the advent of cell phones that the idea of letting a girl have her own personal line that you can't just monitor on a regular basis became a thing, So it was mostly,
right.
yeah, so it was mostly a girl, but a guy would do it if he had to. So there was no big deal, Yeah. You ever watch that show, Alf?
Yeah, I've watched Alf.
What'd you think of that show? Like, seriously, what do you think of that show?
In retrospect, I think it's less of a kids show than people realize. But I mean, I like it. I think it's good.
I think we need another show like it.
I agree.
I don't think we have anything quite like that anymore. Like it. What's even on television anymore? Do you know?
Exactly. Nothing because it's all streaming now, baby.
Well, fair enough. What streaming shows are like actually like what would you well, like, okay, when you go to like the hotels and stuff, you stay in a hotel, you're not getting a streaming service, right? But that's
Oh,
that's
if that's the case, I'm watching something like Cops.
right, like the
Yeah,
all
like
day.
I don't have a perfect answer for that because I don't know, I'm not gonna say I'm the outlier exactly, but I just don't watch a lot of television like that, and I don't think a lot of people do. I think that's kind of why they're trying to make YouTube like TV, because they know that everything is on the internet nowadays, and TV stations, like even news channels and stuff, like even though they still have their broadcasts on TV, those are immediately clipped and put on YouTube so that people will actually watch them, because
Hmm.
the minority of people are actually watching television now.
Right, right.
Except for you know, I I would guess anyway, I would hazard a guess, say that a large majority of people that watch television in today's society are probably older audiences, you know, as
Yeah,
opposed to younger ones
who are actually waking up in the morning and watching like the Weather Channel or something.
or something.
Because, there are people who literally wake up in the mornings early enough so they can watch the Weather Channel. I
Yeah,
don't really understand that at all.
I just listen to it on the radio while I'm driving.
I just look outside.
That
I'm
too.
like, tut tut, looks like rain. Skeet skeet. Like, I don't know.
That's why it's like, sometimes it's like he was wrong yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I get that
He said
some
it was going to be sunny.
I get that some businesses, like, what do you call it? Like, depend on it. Like, if you're working outside a lot, uh, like I don't know, you have to dig in the ground a lot or whatever. You're dependent. Your business is dependent on what the weather's doing. I guess I understand keeping up with the weather that way, you know?
Yeah.
But like I'm not just checking the weather just cuz I plan on going to a barbecue today or something, you know? I will go and
Oh, right.
if it starts raining, I will just find a way to barbecue in the rain. You know?
Put
Like
up an
yeah, exactly. An umbrella. I don't know. Stick it under a tree. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll just find a way to do that. Like I ain't worried about like, you know, oh, we're going to go to the park today. I'll tell you what, if you're going to go Easter egg hunting and it looks like it's going to rain, then maybe you shouldn't go Easter egg hunting.
Yeah.
Or just accept the fact that it's going to rain, you know? I mean, you could go, shoot. The way I look at it is if it's warm outside and it feels like that rain is going to be warm, shoot. Do your business. Do what you got to do in that warm rain, man. It's like taking a shower. Go play in the rain. People need to play in the rain more. I know that sounds real
I
out of,
agree.
yeah, that may be an out of pocket statement, but people need to play in the rain more. Like back when I was a kid, we played in the dang old rain. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, for sure.
I had this friend, right? And they were pretty cool. It started raining one day, and it was raining heavy, man. We were in Colorado, and it was raining heavy. And I was like, yeah, I guess that, I don't even remember what we were about to do. I was just like, I guess that's out of the question. And they were like, no, it ain't. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, it's nice out there. Look at that rain. They're like, you don't get nice rain like this in Colorado too often. They're like, come on. And then they grabbed me. We went out there, man, and we started splashing in that. Because that was a serious rain, like the freaking gutter, dude. Like, I literally kicked the water out of the gutter and it splashed like I was in a swimming pool.
Dang.
Yeah, I learned to appreciate rain that day. So much. So much. It was nice. More people need to play in the rain more. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how we lose that childlike sense of wonder. And we do it at an early, like I catch myself doing it even to my daughter, right? Like after it rains or something and I see a puddle, I'm like, "Don't you jump in that puddle." I'm like, "Why am I being like that?"
Because you gotta clean it.
Yeah.
You're thinking about yourself, is what it is.
Yeah. I'm being a selfish man. I'm being a selfish old man.
Yeah, you better. It sounds like you're engaging in a lot of toxic masculinity, and I'm afraid that you're gonna have a lot of reading to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, I'll look into it. I can't promise you anything, but I'll look into it. I need something to possibly. Never mind. You know what? I'm not even gonna go there with this. I don't even have a wood burning stove. I don't know what I'm worried about it. I don't know why I need fuel for a fire, anyways.
Pretty much.
Tell you what. I'll tell you. Is that what you're gonna do when you start segueing back? Is that what you're gonna start doing when you start dressing all Aragorn? When you become Strider of Strider of the Dusty Plains of Texas? Are you going to? I'm not gonna say where particularly in Texas you are. You're welcome. Um, but like, is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna start engaging in like that toxic masculinity? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding the door open when I enter the store.
Holding the door for people. I'm telling you right now, man. You hold the door. The first person you hold the door open for, and you're dressed up like that, and your cloak and everything, they're gonna be checking their back pocket for their wallet.
That's fine. It'll be there.
Or so help me God, I'll find who took it, and
Yeah,
I will,
exactly.
and I will smote their ruin upon the
Upon the
mountainside.
mountainside, exactly.
It's just too much, man. It's just too much.
I think it's perfect.
Oh, I think yeah. I'm definitely all about it. Like I said, I felt like that was my shadow self being like, you shouldn't do that. But I feel like that wasn't the good shadow self. I feel like that was the pessimistic one, the one that likes to sabotage and undermine not just yourself but other people too, right? Because that's something else Carl Jung talks about when he talks about the shadow self, right? He says that eventually, because you want to deny it so much, you start projecting it in other people, right? Because what you're doing is you're doing a transference of one pathetic soul to another, if that makes any sense. And the world still needs a scapegoat. Even today we have scapegoats. Even in a day where we lack vampires, witches, and werewolves, we still have the scapegoats.
True.
And so I felt like that's what I was doing, right? I was projecting instead of like being supportive. I was using the worst part of the shadow self instead of like the good part, right? So that's why I was like, every part of me says you shouldn't be doing this, but yet I feel like that's not right, you know? So that's why I was like, that's why I absolutely feel like you should.
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, it ain't got to be like all that. I feel you. I appreciate that. But the
Yeah, I get
part
you
of
were
the
gonna
point
do
of
it.
it,
Yeah.
yeah,
You were
that's
gonna
part of
do
the
it
point.
regardless
I'm
if
gonna
I
do
was.
it
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get that.
I'm gonna do it because it makes people uncomfortable.
Well, it
Because
doesn't.
I like it.
Yeah. It's not necessarily me feeling uncomfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable about the idea. I'm just like, Jesus, man. Like, seriously. My biggest thing is like, I'm thinking about like no more white t-shirts or jeans, right? Because I love me my white tees and my jeans, right? And my cowboy hats, and my boots. I love them.
Well, sure, that's fine. Like those aren't necessarily just out of the question, I guess, but like it's not gonna be the norm. Like, I mean, I guess if I'm sitting around, well, I don't know. No,
You know
I'm
what?
done with white t-shirts. Fuck them.
You know what? I think I'm gonna join this crusade, but instead of dressing like medieval, I think I'm gonna start dressing like a steampunk cowboy. Like I just straight
Yeah,
up came out of a steampunk western. Yeah.
that's cool. I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say like oh, like in Greco-Roman robes,
Oh, no, man. I'm like you know what? Like maybe like a decade or
like your
so.
Dionysus.
Yeah, like a decade or so ago, I might have done that because I actually had a body that might have pulled that off. But like I've been married way too long and have been way too happy and have had way too many good meals. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's why I thought it would be fitting for a man of like, luxury.
yeah. I mean, once upon a time, that's the thing. People don't know that. Once upon a time, the fat man was actually more revered than like the muscular Arnold Schwarzenegger looking guy. You know what I mean? It was like the fatter guy that people liked because it showed that he was well taken care of, that he had his crap together because he could afford to eat and have some leisure in his life, right? So I don't know what changed per se, you know, but it sure did, right? I mean, look at even the older statues of those times, right? The depictions of like the most beautiful women, they're full figured women. They're not these like little
Yes.
stick figure looking things, who won't eat a meal, eat a peanut and they're like, oh, you know.
Right. They're like, oh, yeah,
I'm trying not to make fun of
post
like
show.
a serious like illness that people can get sometimes, like I'm trying to be a little bit more
Compassionate.
yeah, considerate even, which are not my natural states of being, as you will know.
Same.
But like, uh, yeah, but yeah, full figured women, man, they were considered the best. So I'm just gonna rock it steampunk cowboy style, like um, I don't know, like a mixture of maybe like cowboy bebop and uh, what is it, trigoon or something?
What is it?
Trigoon.
Oh, I thought it was Trigun, but
Well, it
I'm a
is. I
Trigoon.
think
I
I think
gotcha.
it probably is Trigun. I think I'm just being
It might
pretentious.
be. Well, no, I mean it may be Trigoon. I've just never really thought about it, I guess, that hard.
Well, nobody ever actually says the name on the show, do they?
Not that I can call specifically to memory.
Like his name isn't
That's partly my
Trigoon.
point.
Yeah. Like it'd be one thing if his name was Trigoon, but it's Vash the Stampede, right? So like, yeah. But something like that, just kind of like a not so anime though, because that ain't really
Yeah,
my
no, I
thing.
gotcha.
That really ain't my thing. I don't like it too stylized. I want it a little dirty, a little gritty, more American, like uh, tall tale America, folklore America.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. The people who you know, wrestled bears. I don't know, Davy Crockett.
Yeah, yeah, wear a fucking possum pelt on your head.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I'm just thinking of a style that I could still wear like a pair of boots and a cowboy hat with. You know what I mean? And then I'll build the rest of the the ensemble around that. You know, I think is how I'm gonna do it.
Word.
Yeah, yeah, and then we're just gonna live our lives like a couple of legitimate cosplayers.
Yeah, well, I find it, and that's a good point because I find it silly that people only dress the way that they want to dress at conventions and shit. And I mean, okay, so like there's a fine line to ride there, right? That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I think that somebody who doesn't wear deodorant should be dressed like a Sailor Moon character all the time. You know what I mean? But if but if they do, I guess, more power to them.
Uh, no kidding,
Because
right?
I'm gonna dress like Aragorn, so I don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, okay, to be fair to that, and maybe this is just me being like a father and a little bit more prudish than I used to be, because I mean, if you asked me this like 2 decades ago, I'd have been like, I don't care. In fact, I promote it, right? But like thinking about it now, it's like, okay, cosplay, right? Uh, I don't know. Like, I look at some people at these Renaissance fairs and I look at them at their like conventions and stuff, and I think to myself, you are being who you truly feel like you are right now, dressed up like that. You know what I mean? And not necessarily the Batmans or the Deadpools or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's like 15 of y'all. Y'all can't be Batman. Y'all can't be Deadpool. But, whatever. But I don't know if like I'm necessarily in promotion of some people wearing their cosplay all the time. I don't know if we really need that many young women walking around with their butt cheeks hanging out all the time.
Well, that's part of my point, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, but if you're, I don't know, I don't see the harm in dressing like you would at a Renaissance fair all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a Renaissance fair is a good example as opposed to like Comic-Con where people are, I don't know, there's no real practicality to the way that you're dressed other than you're just basing it off of a video game or comic book character, which is fine in its own regard and it's fun and it's a hobby. I'm not trying to shit on that,
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Like
To be fair,
it
some of them costumes are better and
right.
have way more thought put into them for less money, no less, than billion-dollar companies like Warner and Disney. You know.
Exactly. And that's my point. Like it's a legitimate hobby, so I'm not trying to shit on that at all, you know. It's
Hmm.
just that I understand why people don't dress like that all the time just simply because of the practicality of it. But you know, people used to dress like you would at a Renaissance fair all the time, so I kind of don't see the harm in dressing that way all the time.
No, and like honestly, like I'm gonna tell you right now, if people want to start doing that, like if people just want to start dressing like they do at a Renaissance fair all the time, there's a place and I don't remember where it is. I want to say it's like in Rhode Island or Pennsylvania where people literally go and they live like they're living in the Middle Ages, like in Renaissance all year round. They pay in a certain
That's
fee and then
sweet.
they live like that, you know? And that's cool. But like if we want that to spill out into society, let's just say we start a fire today here with this podcast and we light a match and people start, rocking it. Um, I'm gonna tell you, like now, just a minute ago, I said, yeah, we don't need people dressing up like Psylocke from the X-Men on a regular basis, and whatnot. We just don't. You know what I'm
I
saying?
still stand by that.
But um, but I will say one if you wanted to cosplay, and one person that I would promote, to a dozen people if you want to dress like this, if you want to dress like Ayla from Ayla the Hunter from Skyrim, have at it. If you
You're
could,
dumb.
if you could pull that off, there you go. So what
Not
was?
even her armor is
So,
that practical.
I, dude, I don't care. Serana, is it Serana? Yeah, Serana
Yeah.
from the Dawn. Yeah,
Yeah, Dawnguard.
yeah, have at it. There you go. You have my. In fact, Skyrim is fine. 100%. All of Skyrim. You want to do that? That's okay. That's okay. Because not all. No, you're right. Not all of that is practical. Not even all the weaponry is practical. Look at the freaking Dwemer sword, bro. Look at the Dwemer sword. It's got barbs on the handle. You know? I don't know. It's not practical, but it's cool. And I give it 100% my A OK. You got a hot topic for us?
Not specifically, no.
What's a hot button topic? Come on, give me. Let's do one. Let's do one.
You're the button topic guy.
I'm the button topic guy. Yeah, but there's so many like there's just so many things. Like we could talk about the state of Indiana Jones or the state of or of Star Wars or
Well,
Marvel,
I
which
don't really know about the Indiana Jones thing. I knew that they were coming out with a new movie supposedly, but I haven't heard
it's gonna be
anything.
terrible. They're gonna travel back in time and kill him when he's young.
Nice.
Yeah. So, his co-star can become whatever. It's a whole mess, and I don't want to talk about that. I'm so tired about talking about like the terrible stuff in media. I want like good news for like just a change, like something good that's coming out. Like something. Here's the hot button topic. How come there's no real good anything coming out? You know? Like like how come I can't feel excited anymore about anything anymore? You know? Like I don't understand that at all. Like okay, so the new Legend of Zelda came out, right? You've been playing that. What do you think of it?
Yeah. I am impressed with it.
See,
Like beyond what I expected. I guess it met me at the very least met my expectation, if not exceeded it. I'm I'm barely like even partially into it, and I'm like, whoa.
see, that's what I love about Nintendo. They care about their properties, right? People give them a hard time about the way that they do things, and sometimes yeah they're a little bit irate, but at the end of the day it's because they care about their intellectual properties, and they don't want them being misrepresented or abused. I mean geez, they tried that once with the Mario Brothers movie, and well we all saw how that turned out, right? So there's that. And I'm not talking about the new Mario Brothers movie. I'm
Yeah,
talking
the
about
old one.
yeah, which I guess to my understanding has developed itself quite the cult following, right?
Yeah, because that movie's excellent.
No, that movie's terrible.
It is, and it's excellent.
I lived in the time of that movie when that movie first came out, and I wanted to go see it so bad, and I'm glad I didn't spend the money on that.
Well, it is. It's awful, but it's great.
No,
That's what's great about it.
I I don't know. I just I feel here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It is terrible, and it is great at the same time. And to be honest with you, I I don't hate it, and I think the reason why I don't hate it is because I feel like with what we're getting in today's like entertainment, you know, I- it makes these things that we used to hate or used to think were just awful, god awful. It makes them look good. Things are bad when stuff
Well, the
like
fact that it's so bad makes it hilarious to watch. It's not like you're watching it expecting it to be like, everybody that watches it now goes into it knowing it's going to be bad. It's different than when it first came out with the expectation of wanting to see something
that
good, you
that
know,
yeah, that like
for lack of a better word.
represented Mario Brothers accurately, but yeah, but see that's the thing. Like now it's so bad it's good, but it's still a lot better than I say it is probably better than like The Force Awakens. you know,
Well, fair enough. That movie fucking sucks.
because I mean, like let's face it, like The Force Awakens. See, here's the thing: Mario Brothers was a bait and switch. You went in that movie thinking you were going to get a Mario Brothers movie, and you got like kind of like this weird post-apocalyptic. You know what I'm saying? Weird. And it ticked you off, but it was so bad and blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. So they dropped the ball. All that was the dropping of the ball. The Force Awakens was a bait and switch that was a betrayal to the fans. You know what I mean? Like that. At the end of the day, it's a betrayal. It's just a betrayal. So I would go as far as to say, like, yeah, the Mario Brothers movie. You heard it here, folks. The Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo is still better than The Force Awakens or any of the sequel trilogy for that matter. So yeah, if you got to rent one, rent the Mario Brothers movie. That's our hot topic for today. Mario Brothers movie is still better than than the freaking Star Wars sequel trilogy. Good job, Disney. Good
I mean,
freaking job.
to be fair, even the Chinese government is better than Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Well, I mean, I know they think so because they sure as crap wouldn't let the movie play in their theaters. They had to. The Chinese government flipped out about how big they made John Boyega on the poster. They had to shrink him down and hide him.
Did they really?
Yeah, dude. Like
Whoa.
I can't figure out what Disney's like obsession with the Chinese government is, but they want in their market so bad. They keep trying to please them. And one of the things they did was shrink John Boyega on their movie poster and then shove him so far back that like the Chinese government wouldn't flip out because you know, they're like that, right?
Right. So, who is it that really panders to quote unquote intolerance?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Chinese government are basically the Thalmor from Skyrim.
No kidding.
Like I know the Stormcloaks catch a lot of grief, but let's face it, the Thalmor are far worse than the Stormcloaks ever were. You know, because at the end of the day, yeah, you could say the Stormcloaks they give the Dark Elves and the Argonians a lot of crap, and they won't let the Khajiit into their cities and stuff. That sounds really bad, and that's pretty cruel, right? It's pretty bad. But also, historically, the Nords are also historically known for coming to the aids of all these races, you know, for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
Thalmor won't do that. The Thalmor think that they're superior to everybody in this and that. And whose strings are they pulling? They're pulling the strings of the Empire. So really, who's the good guys in Skyrim?
Yeah.
Like people don't think about that. They only look at the surface level, and because you want a virtue signal so hard, you just go for the low-hanging fruit. Don't be that person. You know, stop and think about what is actually virtuous. Don't be that person, people. So yeah, hot button topic today. Freaking Mario Brothers movies better than than The Force Awakens because they didn't shrink John Leguizamo in their poster. There you have it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man. Well, I guess we're gonna cut it here, man.
That sounds like a good place to stop it after shitting on the Chinese government.
Yeah, we better go hide. Better hide. I already hear them calling up Disney.
It doesn't even matter that we're not like uh real prominent figures. We're not famous. Doesn't matter.
We're
The
not in.
Chinese government will silence all.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that we're nobodies. We cannot have that. There can be no free thinkers.
None.
All right. Well. All right. Well, I've been Lord Pog.
And I'm Android.
And we will catch you at the next one. Y'all come back now. You hear?
I've broken your heart.
Yeah, let's show you what to do.